Hello dear friends, welcome to Gate Academy Global. So before starting today's session, I would like to take the concurrence as well as the feedback regarding the quality of audio as well as video. If it is perfect, just write perfect over the live chat, and I would request to each one of you just try to share this link to maximum of your juniors, seniors or the batchmates, because definitely this series of the engineering mathematics are going to be very beneficial to all of these students, because the gate is already over and definitely you must be seeking that you must be able to cover the remaining examinations, like the examination can take place for the ISRO, BARC and engineering services examinations. And as I was discussing in the last class, the series which we have started from yesterday onwards, basically what are the different examinations I am going to cover. You can see very well, basically I am going to cover the engineering services examination 2021, which is supposed to come very shortly. Similarly, the questions related to the ISRO and similarly the questions related to the BRC. Not only that, even I have planned to take few number of questions from the different kinds of the PSU. And anyways, the basic subject on which I would be focusing over this complete series is nothing but the engineering aptitude and analytic ability on engineering mathematics. Yes, agreed what I am saying? Anyways, without getting delayed, let me straight away hop into the agenda behind today's video. I have planned to take the 10 number of questions from the engineering services examinations. As I was discussing in the last class, where you can expect the problems related to the engineering mathematics. First, you can expect the problem related to the engineering mathematics in section 1, paper 1, which used to be the common to all. What does that mean by the common to all? That means that paper would be seen to all of the 4 branches within the engineering services examinations. It starts from the electrical, electronics, mechanical as well as civil. So I have tried to take that common to all portion, and I am going to take the 10 questions in today's video. So without getting delayed, let me straight away jump into the question. Anyways, how we are going to solve this problem? See, once I will show the problem over the digital board, probably I would be giving around 1 to 2 minutes to solve each and individual problem by yourself. And once you are done with the solution, definitely you can put the answer over the live chat, and after that I will try to solve over here. Sir, time are crossing of your, okay, we'll see that. See what is happening over here. So straight away let me jump into the file viewer. See the 10 number of questions I have planned to take in today's video, and you can see very well over the headline. It has been clearly written, it is a common to all branches engineering services examinations, and the bunch of the questions which are supposed to come, they have come in year of 2019. How many number of questions have come? 1, 2, 3, 4, here goes 5. The 5 number of questions have come in common to all paper, that is a section 1 paper 1, and which was equally valuable for all of the branches. Once we will be done with this 5 number of questions which have appeared in year of 2019, we will slightly move it to the common to all branch related to the engineering mathematics which have appeared in engineering services year of 2020. Although there were 6 to 7 number of problems in 2020, but still my agenda is to take only total 10 number of questions in today's video. So probably we would be finishing till this particular question. Agreed what I am saying? So what I would be doing over here, let me start from the beginning onwards. Anyways, as I have been communicating earlier, I will show you the problem and will give you around 2 minutes to solve the problem by yourself. And once you are done with the problem, you can put the answer over the answer key. And yes, all of the questions are type of MCQ. That means out of the 4 different number of options, you will be having only one correct option. So here goes your first question. A committee of 4 is to be formed from among 4 girls and 5 boys. Could you understand what I am saying? What is the probability that the committee will have a number of boys lesser than the number of girls? 4 options were catered along with this problem. The first option goes like 2 by 9. There is the second option which is a 4 by 9. Third option, that is a 4 by 5, and the fourth option, that's nothing but 1 by 6. May I know what's going to be the best most answer for this given problem? Obviously, this problem hails from the concept of probability. Tell me, what would be the best most answer for this particular problem? Here goes the first question of the day. Here goes the first question of the day. Tell me, what would be the best most answer for this given problem? For this given problem. Anyways, let me start reading the problem carefully, and then we'll smash this problem out. We'll smash this problem out. Tell me, what would be the best most answer for this given problem? My dear friends, it has been clearly given a committee of 4 is to be formed. What does that mean of it? That means whenever the formation of the committee would take place, no, I had to accumulate the 4 number of members. Out of 4 number of members, few could be girl and few could be boy. But one thing is quite sure, the first data which has been clearly given, if we'll talk about the given data, number of person in committee is clearly given as 4. Now 4 is to be formed from 4 girls and 4 boys or 5 boys. How many number of girls we have? Number of girls we can write, number of girls is equals to 4. Number of boys is equals to 5. So the answer have started coming. The first answer which have come over the live chat is option B. You can check once again because option B is not the correct answer. Now let me focus over the event for which the probability has to be calculated. What is the probability that the committee will have number of boys lesser than the number of girls? I will repeat, I need to calculate the probability. When a committee has been formed. Obviously, how many number of members would be there? 4 number of members would be there, where the number of boys are lesser than the number of girls. And one thing must be clear in your mind, the number of members within the committee has to be 4. Yes. Tell me, how will you calculate this? See, we can start with probability that if we have 4 number of girls and 0 boys. Yes, just wanted to know whether it is satisfying your requirement or not. Obviously, it is satisfying. See, what was the requirement? When the committee would be formed with a member of 4, the number of girls has to be greater than the number of boys. So I am taking the first situation, the probability when a certain committee has been formed where there are 4 number of girls and 0 number of boy, or you can have the next frame of event or frame of committee where you have 1 number of girl, when you have 1 number of girl and sorry, it's not 1 number of girl, you have 3 number of girls and 1 number of boy, or probability that precisely within the committee we have got the 2 number of girls and 2 number of boys. Now wanted to ask from each one of you at least the probability which I wanted to calculate in starting 2 events. Obviously, they were satisfying the requirement where the committee has to be formed with a member of 4, where the number of boys has to be greater than the number of boys has to be lesser than the number of girls. May I know whether it is a proper event and it has to be taken within the calculation or not? No, my dear friends, no, because it has been clearly given. The probability has to be calculated when a committee has been formed where the number of boys has to be lesser than, it's not lesser than equals to, lesser than the number of girls. And you can see very well, this is the situation where within the committee the number of girls as well as the number of boys have been same. Agreed what I am saying? So obviously it has to be ruled out. Till this moment of point, probably each one of us would agree what we have been done so far. Tell me, what would be the best most answer for this given problem? See, you can see very well the number of girls, how many they are? The 4 number of girls we have. The number of girls, how many they are? the 4 number of girls we have, and similarly if we'll talk about the number of boys, how many they are, the 5 number of boys we have. Now obviously simply with the help of the concept of combination we can smash this problem out. See, probability when the 4 number of girls has been picked out of 4 number of girls, and similarly the 0 number of boys has been picked out of 5 number of boys. You yourself would be able to conclude what it is. See, how many number of items got selected? Total 9 number of items we have. How many number of items got selected, my dear friends? If you had to frame a committee with the number of committee members is equals to 4, so obviously you are going to select the 4 item out of 9 items. So simply it's gonna be 9C4. Yes, but how that 4 item would be selected? That you can see very well, the 4 of them has to be girl. That means out of bunch of 4 number of girls, all 4 has to come from the same bunch. Yes, here goes and the next you had to select, you should not be selecting any of the boy. That means out of 5 number of boy, there should not be any selection of any of the boy. Yes, we are done with this. Now what I would be doing, I would be moving forward. The same concept has to be done over here. Although the composition of the girls and boys have changed, but still I am selecting the 4 number of members out of total 9 possibilities. So still it would be 9C4. The 3 girls have to come all the way from the bunch of 4 girls. So here it's gonna be 4C3 and yes. And now the 1 boy has to come from the bunch of 5 number of boys. Yes. So you had to get the answer out of this. Anyways, I know many of us would find a bit difficult to calculate this, but still with the help of calculator you can calculate it easily. Otherwise manually also you can try. My dear friends, what would be 4C4? Tell me what would be the worth of 4C4? That would be 1. Even you can calculate this value mathematically, or even with the help of logic also you can get the value 4C4, or NCN would always be 1. What does it mean by the NCN? Or what does it mean by the NCR? How many ways the R items can be collected out of n number of items. And here, what is the meaning of it? That means out of n number of items, how many ways all of the n items can be selected. If you are selecting all of the items together, definitely you can do only once. If you don't understand, I can take a small explanation over here. Just a minute. Which I was discussing earlier. NCN is equals to of n factorial divided by of n factorial, n minus n, that is a 0 factorial. 0 factorial used to be 1, n factorial is simply 1. It's simply 1. That is must be clear to us. Yes. Similarly, if we take NC0, because this fundamental has also been appeared, no, 5C0. There is also 1, my dear friends. Logically also you can assume, like if you have got the n number of items and you do not have to select anything, how many ways you can do that? Only once. So here goes n factorial, r factorial, n minus r factorial. Here also the result is simply 1. So here goes the 5C0 is simply 1. So whatever the calculation you had to carry out now, that has to be carried out for the NC4. Now here goes 4C3. Obviously few of the calculation has to be done over the 4C3. If you wanted to know what would be the 4C3, 4C3 would be 4 factorial divided by of 3 factorial within the bracket 4 minus of 3 factorial. That would be simply 1 factorial, and 1 factorial is simply 1. Now what does it mean by the 5C1? How many ways the one item can be selected out of the n different items. Even we have seen this also. NC1, it would be n factorial, 1 factorial, n minus 1 factorial, which used to be n always. Yes, you can see in the other way. Logically also you can conclude the same thing. If you have got the bunch of n number of items, and if I would ask how many ways the n items can be selected, I can select the first item, second, third, fourth, and put together I have got the n number of different items, n different ways I can select them. So here goes the 5C1, which can be simply written as this, and here goes the NC4. See, 4 factorial is the multiplication of 4, 3, 2 goes till 1. 3 factorial is the multiplication of 3 to 1. Obviously, the component which will be left over here is simply gonna be 4. Yes, my dear friends. Let me go down a bit. And from here, taking the LCM, you can get the exact or the precise answer. The NC4 is gonna be the LCM for the both of the terminologies. Here goes 1 towards the left hand side. Here goes the 4 factorial divided by 3 factorial. That's the, and here it goes like this. Tell me what's gonna be the bestmost answer. So here it goes somewhere. The answer which is supposed to come is simply gonna be 1 upon 6. May I know how many of us have got this answer? Anyways, the bestmost answer is gonna be option D. Yes, that is gonna be the bestmost answer. The D is gonna be the bestmost answer. Agreed? No? Although it looks very small as well as very small problem, but yes, I would say it's a type of tricky problem, because here, if I go to the calculation of this particular component, many of the students will go forward and there the calculation mistake would take place, because the number of committee member would always be 4. Agreed? No? Okay, that's the first problem it was. Anyways, now it's a time to move it into the second question. See, this sort of vague problem also do come into the engineering services examination. But I would say, put your logic, do not scratch your head, sir, this type of problem I have not seen anywhere, so I could not solve this problem. This sort of problem also comes into the ESE, engineering services examination. I would just say, apply your aptitude, apply your logic, definitely end of the day you are going to get the proper answer for this given problem. Anyways, let me read this problem carefully. Yes. The solution of the initial value problem dou u by of dou x is equals to of 2 times of dou u by of dou t. Anyways, what does that mean by the dou? Anyways, many of these teachers say it or call it del, but I always say this terminology as dou. What does that mean by the dou? It is nothing but the partial derivative is equals to of 2 times of dou u by of dou t plus of u, where u within the bracket x comma 0 is equals to of 6 times of e to the power of minus 3 x is. There are the 4 different options which has been attached along with this problem. The option A goes like u is equals to of 6 times of e to the power of minus 3x plus t. Option B goes like u is equals to of 6 times of e to the power of minus 2x plus of 2t. C goes like u is equals to of 6 into e to the power of minus within the bracket 3x plus 2t, and D goes like u is equals to of 6 e to the power of minus 3x plus of 2t. Tell me what would be the bestmost answer. And yes, this problem would take good amount of time, but apply your brain, apply your aptitude, end of the day you would be able to find this answer. You would find its answer. Tell me what would be its bestmost answer. So what I would be doing over here, let me bring this problem into the working board. Here goes this problem. Tell me what would be the bestmost answer for this given problem. My dear friends, once you watch this problem carefully, at least one thing is quite clear. The u is getting differentiated with respect to the x as well as t. That means the u is the function of x as well as t. And even the second factor which has been given along with this problem, u within the bracket x comma 0, what does it mean by 0? That means the value of t has been fed as 0 and the worth has been found as a 6 into e to the power of minus 3x. Is the 4 options were given. May I know the which type of solution it is, whether it's a form of general solution or whether it's a form of particular solution. You yourself would be able to judge it's a form of particular solution, because there is no involvement of C, which is nothing but the arbitrary constant. So few of the important point I would like to write over here. The first thing, the partial differentiation of u with respect to the x as well as t indicates the u is going to be the function of x and t. U is going to be a function of x and t, or I can say it's a bivariate independent variable. Bivariate function. Bivariate function. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. The second component which has been attached along with this problem has been given as u x 0. Anyways, they wanted to say the value of t has been fed as 0, which has been clearly given as 6 times of e to the power of minus 3x. E to the power of minus 3x. Yes. And may I know option A, B, C and D indicates for what? They stands for the solution for the given partial differential equation. That means we need to calculate solution of partial differential equation. Partial differential equation. I know many of the students would be trapped over this problem just by saying, sir, we do not exactly know how to get the general solution or the particular solution for the given partial differential equation. My dear friends, if you have gone through the process of the formation of the differential equation as well as getting the solution of the partial differential equation or the ordinary differential equation, one thing is quite sure, calculation of solution, maybe in a form of general solution or the particular solution, is bit tougher in compare with the formation of differential equation. It's a bit easy. Yes, my dear friends, could you understand what I am saying? It's a bit easy. So why don't we take the reversal process? Why don't we take the reversal process? That means I would assume this is the general solution for the given differential equation. That means this general solution would satisfy this differential equation as well as the absolute value of the u at x comma t is equals to 0. Could you understand what I am saying? So I would go reverse. I would take the reference of option A, option B, option C and option D. I will try to satisfy all of the options with the first as well as second equation. Whichever equation gets satisfied completely, that's going to be the complete answer, or that's going to be the perfect answer. Yes. So let me start with the option A. Anyways, before going into the detailed analysis, I would like to ask from each one of you, if any of us could have got the perfect answer for this particular problem, can put it over the live chat. Yes, it is a well designed problem. Tell me, what would be the best most answer for this given problem? Chale. So let me start taking the reference of option A. Yes. So first we will cross check whether the option A is perfectly satisfying the requirement or not. See what the equation A indicates. The u is equals to 6 times of e to the power of minus 3x plus t. There is no bracket, no? There is no bracket. Agreed? Let me feed the value of u with the partial differential equation, and the same process would be done with the option B, C and D. Okay, let me do that. So at very beginning, let me calculate the value of dou u by of dou x. That means partially we had to differentiate u with respect to the x, and there the t has to be taken constant. So here it becomes dou of dou x of the function u, that's just 6 e to the power of minus 3x plus of t. Once you will differentiate it, obviously minus 3 would come out, t would be treated as constant. So the factor which is coming out, it's simply going to be minus of 18 e to the power of minus 3x plus of t. Yes. And now the second factor has to be calculated, and that's nothing but the partial differentiation of u with respect to the t. Again here goes dou of dou t is equals, dou of dou t of u, where the u has been assumed as minus 3x plus of t. Yes. Now what is happening? the differentiation has to be taken place with respect to the t. So the factor which has got multiplied with the t would come towards the outside. Anyways, the factor which is getting multiplied with the t is simply 1. So the 1 would come out. So the factor which would be coming out is simply 1. 1 gets multiplied with the 6. The factor which will left out is simply going to be 6 minus of 3x plus of t. 3x plus of t. Yes. Yes, my dear friends. And once you will feed dou u by of dou x 2 times of dou u by dou t, easily you would be able to get the value of u now. Yes, with the help of this factors, I would try to get the value of u now. Tell me what would be the value of u now? The u is simply going to be dou u by of dou x minus of 2 times of dou u by of dou t. Dou u by of dou x minus of 2 times of dou u by of dou t, and here goes u. Agreed? What is the dou u by of dou x? You yourself would be able to visualize it. What it is? It's a minus 18 times of e to the power of minus 3x plus of t. Yes, no? And now the minus 2 has to get multiplied with this factor which becomes minus 12. So simply let me write this straight away. And here goes u, obviously, which is supposed to be a function of x as well as t. Agreed, my dear friends? And once you will add them together, because they are like term, obviously they would get added. So here it's going to be minus 30 times of e to the power of minus 3x plus of t. Ux, t. Agreed? Till this moment of point, probably each of us would be agreeing on it. Now what is happening over here? If you'll go forward, it has been clearly given. If you want, you can see over here. It has been clearly given. The u at t is equals to 0 is simply equals to of 6 times of e to the power of minus 6. Whether this condition is satisfied or not? No, not at all. If you will be feeding t is equals to 0, the factor which been left out is simply equals to of 30 e to the power of minus 30x or 3x, which is not at all getting satisfied by the differential equation itself. So I would request to each one of you, try to get the fatafat answer. Which one would be the best most answer? If I take the reference of option A, option B, option C, option D, although for the option A or for the elimination of the option A, I have taken such a huge as well as long process, but now I would expect each one of you would have a fair idea how we can deal with the option B, C as well as D. Tell me which are the different options can be filtered out, and hence which would be the best most answer. Tell me. You yourself would be able to understand this, see. So just change it a bit. Here becomes u is equals to of dou u by of dou x minus of dou u by of dou t. Yes. So just focus over option B. See, if the differentiation is being taken place with respect to the x, obviously this minus 2 would come out. So the factor which would become is simply going to be minus of 12. This factor would remain as it is. Agreed? Now here, similarly, if the differentiation takes place with respect to the t, keep in mind this minus sign would come in, which is nothing but the minus 2. The minus 2 would go out, and that would become minus 12 again. But here minus 12 gets multiplied with the minus 2, that becomes plus of 24. And here at power, you would be having the factor of 2x plus of 2t. Anyways, in the first look, the option B could have been ruled out. See why? Because the factor which we are getting over exponent, it's the e to the power of minus 2x plus 2t. In future, if we will be feeding t is equals to 0, definitely factor which would be left out at the power of e would be e to the power of minus 2x, where we want the value as e to the power of minus 3x. So obviously the B could have been ruled out very early. Yes, it's a minus 2x plus of 2t. Yes, now here goes the option C. Yes, the analysis has to be done, and now you can see very well once you will be feeding t is equals to 0, still you are getting e to the power of minus 3x. So patiently we have to check whether we are getting the correct answer from the option C or not. Again, dou u by of dou x. So this minus 3 would come out. The factor which would be left out is simply going to be minus 18 e to the power of minus 3x plus of 2t. If you want, I can simply take this as k, because this factor would simply be repeating. Similarly, once you will be differentiating with respect to the 2t, so this minus 2 would come out. This minus 2 would come out and it would get multiplied with 6. That would become minus of 12. Minus of 12. Minus of 12 has to get multiplied with minus of 2. That would become plus of 24. Plus of 24 of k. Once we'll add them together, the factor which has been left out is going to be simply 6 into k. What's the k over here? The k is nothing but e to the power of minus 3x plus of 2t, and now we had to cross check once again at u t is equals to 0. So if I would be keeping x as it is and if I am feeding t is equals to 0, so the result which we are getting out of it, it's simply gonna be 6 into e to the power of minus 36. 6 into e to the power of minus 36. So the best most answer what we are getting is gonna be option C. So that is what I am saying. Sometime they may ask the Pechida question within the engineering services examinations also. Although this sort of problem have never been seen in GATE examination, but yes, the intensity of problem was towards tougher side. And still I would say the student who are good in aptitude or good in the application of the engineering mathematics, definitely they would be able to crack this problem out. Yes, no? The revision method would be better. Omkar Rawal, I would suggest to each one of you, whenever you have a form of differential equation and the options has been clearly given, which could be the possible options, where the options are nothing but the general solution or the particular solution for the given differential equation. Maybe the differential equation is in a form of partial or maybe in a form of ordinary. I would always suggest go back. The calculation would become much easier. Just wanted to know how many of us have got the same answer, and the answer was C now. The answer was C now. Agreed? This problem have again come in ESE, Engineering Services Examination. This problem have come in Engineering Services Examination, year of 2019, in first paper number 1, in first section, which was common to all. Yes, that means this problem was faced by civil, mechanical, electrical, as well as electronics. Yes. So the best most answer is going to be option C. Once we are done with the second question, now it's right time to move forward and go into the third question. Anyways, here goes the third question. Although this sort of problem is rarely being asked within the GATE examination, but yes, this question have come in engineering services examination. Polar form of the Cauchy-Riemann equation is, the options were given as dou u by of dou r is equals to of r dou v by of dou theta, and dou v by of dou r is equals to of minus r dou u by of dou theta. Dou u by of dou r is equals to of 1 upon r dou v by of dou theta, and dou v by of dou r is equals to of minus 1 by r times of dou u by of dou theta. Option C goes like dou u by of dou r is equals to of 1 upon r dou v by of dou theta, and dou v by of dou r is equals to of minus r times of dou u by of dou theta. And the last option goes like dou u by of dou r is equals to of r dou v by of dou theta, and dou v by of dou r is equals to of minus times of 1 upon r dou u by of dou theta. Dou u by of dou theta. Tell me, what would be the best most answer? Anyways, the student who have gone through the formula of the Cauchy-Riemann equation for the polar form, then only they would be able to crack this sort of problem. So many of the times straight away the formula based problem do come from the engineering mathematics, specifically in engineering mathematics. So once you are aware with the formula, you are getting the marks, otherwise definitely you won't get any marks from this particular problem. So what I would be doing over here, let me copy this into the working board, and we'll try to get its best most answer. Anyways, before going into the detailed analysis of this problem, just wanted to ask why the Cauchy-Riemann equation is being used. Why the Cauchy-Riemann equation is being used. Cauchy-Riemann equation is being used for proving any of the complex function to be an analytic function. So, if we'll write few of the important point, Cauchy-Riemann equation are used to prove a certain complex function f of z to be analytic. So many of the students who have gone through the concept of complex variable definitely must be knowing this. Yes. Next thing, f of z, which can also be written as w, will have the two part. First is gonna be the real part, and second is gonna be the imaginary part. The real part is being written as u, the imaginary part is being written as v. Now even the u and v can be represented in the Cartesian domain or the polar domain. If it is being written in the Cartesian domain, the u would be the function of x and y, and v would be the function of x and y. When the given complex function is being written in Cartesian domain, even the given complex function can also be written in polar domain, where the mode of representing the u and v is in form of r and theta. So here goes j v of r of theta. Agreed, no? So I have seen one thing. Most of the time, the student used to have the idea about the Cauchy-Riemann equation in Cartesian domain. Anyways, we can recall what it was. In Cartesian domain, it was dou u by of dou x is equals to of dou v by of dou y. Dou u by of dou y is equals to of minus dou v times of dou x. Anyways, this was the case in case of Cartesian representation. Now, if you'll recall, what was the conclusion in polar form? So the polar form conclusion was, tell me, what was the conclusion in the polar form? The conclusion was, just a minute, the conclusion was dou u by of dou r is equals to of 1 upon r dou v by of dou theta, and dou u of dou theta is equals to of minus r times of dou v by of dou r. So I would expect that you guys are able to recall what we have studied over the complex variable. So the most answer, if we'll see, obviously I need to take the reference of the second outcome. So the B is gonna be the most answer. Yes. So you can expect this sort of problem also within the engineering services examinations. Whether you know the formula, then you are done with the problem. If you do not know the formula, you are done with the problem. That's it. You will not be able to attempt that problem. So such an intense variety they are trying to cover. That is what I wanted to say. See, in second question, definitely the analytic mind has been judged. In first question, it was a standard problem from the probability. It was not an easy problem. And now in third problem, straight away they have asked, or they have framed a problem which is related to a standard formula. The same thing they have done it with the question number 4. Anyways, let me read the question carefully and then we'll smash this problem out. If f of z has a pole of order n at z is equals to a, then residue of the function f of z at a is. There were the 4 different options were attached along with this problem. The first question goes like, the residue at f is equals to a is equals to of 1 divided by of n plus 1. The differentiation with respect to the z n minus 1 times within the bracket z minus a to the power of n minus 1 f of z at z is equals to a. That means whatever the conclusion we derive after taking its differentiation multiplication, end of the day the z has to be fed as a. Yes, no? Similarly, yes, here I will try that. Omkar Raval, what you are saying, no? Over the complex variable, I have seen many of the students used to have very deep problems. because they are not able to relate the complex variable in the day-to-day activities. And as I have seen, see what happens, either you talk about the calculus, either you talk about the maxima and minima, either you talk about the continuity, discontinuity, most of the time we deal with the real function. And exclusively once we go into the complex variable, we start dealing with the complex function, and definitely we start having the pain. So what I will try to do, I will try to take an exclusive separate few 4 to 5 number of classes over the complex variable itself. Definitely it will be helping a lot. It will be helping a lot. Yes, what I am saying. Anyways, the 4 different options were attached along with the question number 4. Tell me what's going to be the best most answer. I need the answer from each one of you, from the student who are present over the live chat. Tell me what's going to be the best most answer. What's going to be the best most answer? And even I would be taking one example based on this formula. So let me take the click of this problem and bring it to the working board. Tell me what would be the best most answer. Tell me what would be the best most answer. Anyways, I would expect from each one of you, the student who have gone through the concept of the complex variable and specifically Cauchy's closed line integral, definitely they could have gone through this important formula, and that's nothing but the calculation of the residue at its pole. And here the poles are repeated. Obviously the best most formula is going to be, or the correct formula is nothing but option D. Option D is going to be the correct formula. Anyways, how did I know the option D is going to be the correct formula? My dear friends, see, what I am saying, if f of z has a pole at z is equals to a with the order of n, so definitely first the f of z, or the denominator of the f of z would be z minus a to the power of n, and that has to be removed, and that would be removed only by the multiplication of z minus a to the power of n. Then only the numerator as well as denominator would have the same factor, they would be smashed out. And that's not happening over here, and that's not happening over here. Yes, that's not happening over here, that's not happening over here. Obviously that would not be the correct one. Now the next thing comes in your mind, sir, why the cancellation of the poles as well as zeros? You can say this is the pole and zeros are required. My dear friends, this is required because end of the day you had to feed z is equals to a. If all of the poles which has been kept at a has not been cancelled out, and if you will feed z is equals to a, definitely this factor would become infinity. That means if you have f of z which has the pole at z is equals to a with the order of n, that means you have z minus a to the power of n, that has to be get smashed, and that's possible only when z minus a to the power of n is getting multiplied. Yes. Now if you guys would be able to recall, if I do not have any repetitive pole, so what are the so here I used to have f of z, and as I do not have repeating pole, so definitely the factor which we will be having at towards denominator sides is simply going to be z minus a. Now the n is 1, simply it becomes z minus a, and here d by dz, n is 1 minus 1, that means there is no differentiation present within the mathematics, and the result becomes simply z minus a f of z, or simply you can write this as limit z minus a. So even you can recall with the single pole also. I have seen many of the times the student used to have doubt over the formula, whether n minus 1 was present over there, whether z minus a was having its power as n, or whether it was having its power as n minus 1. That is what I am saying. I am just giving a trick how you can remember this formula. The first thing, all of the poles of f of z which has been repeated at a has to be smashed out, and that's possible if you have order of n. Definitely z minus a to the power of n has to get multiplied. That has been done, so nobody would have any confusion. What was the power of z minus a? That's the first thing. Next, many of the students used to have one doubt, sir, would you be having the factor like d n by of dzn, or we would be having the factor of d to the power of n minus 1 divided by of dzn to the power of minus 1. My dear friends, obviously it would be minus 1. Why? Because if you will recall, what was the residue at z is equals to a when we have a simplex pole? We did not have any of the derivative component. How come? N was 1, and when the n was kept 1, this factor became 0, there was no differentiation. There was no differentiation. Agreed? So this was the factor through which you can recall or you can remember this formula. So probably each one of us would be able to agree what I wanted to say exactly over here. So now I would like to ask from each one of you, I have got a complex function. So let me take or let me frame a problem. I have got a complex function. Let's take the complex function is f of z is, let's take z divided by of z plus 2 to the power of 2. I wanted to calculate its residue of f of z at its pole, Yes, I wanted to get the residue of f of z at its pole. What would be the procedure? Obviously the same procedure has to be used, and one of the important thing, the poles are getting repeated at z is equals to minus 2. Obviously I can use the same formula. So start with the residue you can write over here, residue of function f of z at a is not minus 2 now. Nobody should get confused with the 2. It's a minus 2. How minus 2? Because once you'll talk about its pole, definitely you need to take the degree of this. So here the roots which we are getting from z plus 2 to the power of 2, it's simply going to be minus 2. Obviously now you can calculate this value easily. So if you'll compare both of them, the degree of or the repetition of the pole, how many times it has been taken place? 2. That means the value of n is nothing but 2. So simply I would be start filling the value. So here it becomes 1 divided by of 2 minus of 1 factorial. How many times the differentiation would be taken place? Only 1 times. How? The d to the power of n minus 1, that's a 2 minus 1, divided by of dz to the power of n minus 1, that's a 2 minus 1. Simply obviously simplex differentiation has to be taken place for the function. And what's that function? The function is nothing but z plus 2 to the power of 2, which is in place of z minus a to the power of n, would get multiplied with the f of z, which is nothing but z divided by of z plus 2 to the power of 2. Whatever the result we get, no, end of the day, I need to feed z is equals to a, and here the z is equals to a is nothing but minus 2, which is nothing but the location of repeated pole. So let me start calculating its value. So here becomes residue of the complex function f of z at z is equals to minus 2 is equals to 1 divided by 2 minus of 1 factorial. Anyways, the 1 factorial is simply 1. There would be the differentiation with respect to the z of this complete function where the z plus 2 to the power of 2 is already been ruled out. So the factor which has been left out is simply going to be 1. And now I need to feed z is equals to of minus 2 instead the z wherever it is present. Anyways, it's not at all present. So simply I can write the residue of the function f of z at its repeating pole z is equals to minus 2 is simply equals to of plus 1. So this sort of problem may also come into the examination of ESE. Otherwise in GATE examination this sort of problem repeatedly do come. Yes, repeatedly do come, specifically in closed line integral, closed line or contour integral in complex domain or in complex plane. Yes, in complex plane. Could you understand what I am saying? So this was a straight away formula based problem. So the student who are well acquainted with the formula definitely could be able to smash this problem probably within 15 to 20 seconds. 15 to 20 seconds. So let me go into the next question. See, such a simple problem it was. A straight problem where the order of a square matrix is in order of 2 cross 2, and there I need to get its eigenvalues. Which eigenvalues? The smallest eigenvalues. Tell me what would be the best most answer. I would expect from each one of you within 30 to 40 seconds you guys must be able to crack this problem out and would be able to get the exact answer. Tell me what would be the best most answer for this given problem. The lowest eigenvalue of 2 cross 2 matrix, which is 4, 2, 1, 3 is. The options were given as Option A is 1, option B is 2, option C is 3, option D is 5. Tell me what would be the best most answer. Anyways, how many number of eigenvalues would get involved with this square matrix? It is an order of 2 cross 2, so obviously the 2 number of eigenvalues are getting involved with this problem. Let's take the eigenvalues involved with this problem are being written as lambda 1 and lambda 2. They are the eigenvalues. They are the eigenvalues. Anyways, if you have the two informations which relates the lambda 1 and lambda 2, definitely you would be able to get the value of lambda 1 and lambda 2 exclusively. Yes, we have that. May I know what it is? The sum of the eigenvalues, how many eigenvalues you have? 2 eigenvalues, is same as the trace of the square matrix. What does it mean by the trace of the square matrix? That is the addition of all of its principal diagonal elements. So being a 2 cross 2 matrix, definitely the first principal diagonal element would be lying over the 1 1 and the second would be lying over the 2 2. Obviously we can add them together. So the addition is simply going to be 6. Is going to be 6. Yes, once we are done with this, even we can apply the second important relationship between the eigenvalues and the determinant of the corresponding is square matrix. What it is? The multiplication between their eigenvalues is very same as the determinant of the corresponding matrix. So here it becomes 12 minus of 2 and that becomes 10. So obviously with the help of hit and trial you can get the value of lambda 1 as well as lambda 2. The addition has to be 6 and their multiplication has to be 10. Obviously one would be 2, another would be 5, another would be 5. Agreed, my dear friends? So if I'll talk about the least eigenvalue created by this given square matrix, obviously the answer is simply gonna be B. Yes, my dear friends? Till this point, each and everything must be clear to all of us. So what I wanted to say, lump sum the 5 number of questions were seen over the ESE section 1, paper 1, which were common to all. And yes, probably all of these 5 questions were really approachable, and lump sum you can see almost all genre of the engineering mathematics was tried to cover. Although the level of the question was not that high, but yes, they wanted to cover almost all of the important topic within the engineering mathematics. The first problem was based on the concept of the permutation and combination. Second question was based on the concept of differential equation. Third question was based on the concept of complex variable. Fourth question was based on the concept of the complex variable, which was connecting to the residue theorem. And the fifth question was getting connected to the matrix or the linear algebra. That is what I am saying. When you are preparing for the ESE, you should also have a bit command over the engineering mathematics. And one advantage you have, already you have studied engineering mathematics in great detail when you was preparing with the GATE. So obviously the same thing would be useful over here also. So I would just suggest, before going to sit into the section 1 first paper, have a bit glimpse of your old notes which you have prepared for the engineering mathematics. Yes. Anyways, let me focus over the next question. That would be probably the last question of the day. This problem have come in common to all branch engineering services 2020 last year. Anyways, let me read the problem carefully and we'll try to decode this problem and we'll try to get its best most answer. A bag contains 4 white and 2 black balls, and another bag contains 3 of each color. A bag is selected at random and a ball is drawn at random from the bag chosen. The probability of white ball drawn is. Tell me what would be the best most answer. Anyways, you can solve this problem with the 2 different methodology. Either you can use the concept of tree, either you can use the concept of Bayes theorem. Either of the method would be the adequate method to smash this problem out. I would expect from each one of you that you guys would be able to smash this problem out by yourself. Tell me what would be the best most answer. I will try to solve this problem using both of the methodology, using the tree methodology as well as with the help of Bayes theorem. See, anyways, let me focus over the tree. See what is happening over here. what is happening over here. At very beginning, you had to select the bag. Yes, in first step, you had to select the bag. Selection of bag. Selection of bag. How many number of bags you have? The 2 number of bags you have. That means the selection probability of the first bag is being called as A, is half, and the selection probability of the second bag, let's take for the time being, the second bag has been taken as B, is again half. Yes. Probability till this point each and everyone would be agreeing on. Now what is happening over here? Once you have selected the bag A, now you have got the two possibilities. How many number of black balls you have? How many number of 4 number of white balls you have and 2 number of black balls you have. 4 white balls you have and 2 black balls you have. See, I wanted to ask one thing. If the bag A is already been selected, what's the probability that one ball is picked out and the probability for getting the ball as white? Obviously, it would be 4 by 6. How many total balls we have? 6. Out of that, the 4 number of balls are favorable balls. So obviously, it's gonna be 4 by 6. And here, it becomes 2 by 6. Agreed? Now, we can even move further. Here also the same possibility we will be having. Now you can see very well the bag contains 3 of the each color. That means the 3 number of white ball we have, 3 number of white ball we have, 3 number of black ball we have. Yes. And now here we are focusing for the withdrawal of one white ball, so it becomes 3 divided by 6, which would be simply half. And here also it has to be half. Anyways, let me read this problem once again. A bag is selected at random and a ball drawn at random from the bag chosen. The probability white ball drawn is. So may I know how the white ball can be drawn? Either you have selected the first bag, bag, and now first bag, and now you had to get the white ball. That is the first permissible path within the tree. The second permissible path within the tree, secondly, you have selected the bag B and now you had to get the white ball. So you choose either of the path, you are satisfying your requirement. So let me focus over the first path. The probability was half, just a minute, the probability was half. And now once we were selected the bag A, now the probability for the selecting white ball was 4 divided by 6. Or there could have been the second path. You have selected the bag B. What was probability? The probability was half. And now once the bag B is selected, what's the probability for the selection of the white? And that's nothing but the 1 upon 2. Yes. And one of the important thing, even one problem related to the tree diagram have come into the GATE electronics year of 2021, and many of the students could not solve that problem. So I would expect from each one of you, try to have a little bit idea how we can solve the complex probability related problem with the help of tree. So what I am doing is step by step I am approaching towards the final conclusion. At very beginning I have been focusing over the selection of the bag, and in second stage I have been focusing over getting the white ball in the corresponding bag. Yes. So now you yourself would be able to conclude what exactly I wanted to communicate. You have done with this, you have done with this, or you have done with this and you have done with this. You would be getting the exact most answer. Anyways, probably the answer which we are getting here, it becomes 12, no? 12, 4, 4, 1. The LCM which we will be getting is simply going to be 4. 12, the 4 would be as it is, the 3 would come up, and the answer which we are getting is going to be 7 divided by 12. Yes, my dear friends. Now even I could have solved this problem using the concept of Bayes theorem. And anyways, whenever we discuss about the Bayes theorem, we used to have foreground event as well as the foreground event. So here I have got the 2 background event. May I know what are they? The first event has been called as E1, The second event has been called as E2. What are they? The E1 is the event for the selection of bag 1, and similarly E2 is the event for the selection of bag 2. If you want, we can write it over here. Event selection bag 1, E2 selection bag 2. Yes. And now what we had to do, we had to take a foreground event. Let's take, it has been taken as A, and that's nothing but for getting the selected ball as white. Selection of the white ball. Selection of the white ball. May I know how we'll calculate this? How will we calculate this? Obviously, we can calculate it easily. The process would be P of A is equals to of P of E1, P of A by E1, and here goes P of E2, P of A by E2. What does that mean by the P of E1? That's nothing but the selection of the bag 1, which is simply half. And even the value of P of E2 is also half, so why don't we take half common? So we have been just left out with the P of A by E1. What does that mean of it? The probability for the selection of a white ball when the bag 1 is being selected. How many white ball we have? 4 number of white ball out of 6 number of balls. So simply the factor which will be left out is 4 by 6, and similarly 1 by 2. Again you would be getting the same answer, which is nothing but the 7 divided by 12. 7 divided by 12. Yes. Anyways, how many number of questions we could take in today's lecture? The 6th number of questions we could take in today's lecture. The remaining 4 to 5 number of questions we would be taking in tomorrow's class. Vijay Kumar, definitely we are going to resume the vector class also, because already I have taken the permission for the vector class. So what I would be doing within the series of the engineering services examination, whenever we get the time, we'll spare around 7 to 8 hours over the vector calculus itself, because already the part of coordinate systems are over. Now we have to hop into the important point over the vector calculus, and we'll try to learn those concepts with the help of numericals itself. So you need not to worry about it. Definitely we are going to, yes. Please resume those lectures. Yes, we are going to do that. And still, if you guys are having any sort of feedback, you can put it over the live chat. We'll try to implement. Otherwise, I would be ending my sessions for today's class. And we will be meeting tomorrow precisely at 9 p.m. And yes, the span of hour of the class would be approximately 1 hour. That means exactly we will be starting our class at 9 p.m. and will go till 10. Sir, the question done by selecting process. I could not understand. Siva Dev Agrahari, what exactly you wanted to communicate over the live chat, it's not coming to me. So you can explain a bit. Anyways, so one input have come to me. Sir, why don't we take few more classes over the vector calculus? Definitely, I will plan that. And even one more student have gave a feedback. Sir, better to have few number of lectures over the complex variable, because we find that topic very difficult. Definitely, I will try to plan the video or the YouTube videos over the complex variables also. So you will be done with both of the important as well as comparatively tougher topic. Okay, then we'll meet tomorrow precisely at 9 p.m. and the class will land till 10 p.m. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Good night.